Welcome back to the Agency Brief. Today we're tearing apart the most misquoted stat in tech marketing, and it might change how you think about search, traffic, and where your customers are actually going. Plus, stick around on how you can improve your AI search visibility.
You've probably seen the headline. Google sends 190 times more traffic to websites than ChatGPT. Sounds reassuring, right? SEO is fine, everyone relax. But when you actually read the research, the story is a lot more complicated and a lot less comfortable.
So let's start with what that number actually means. Patrick Stocks at Ahrefs pulled data from 76,000 websites and compared referral traffic from Google versus ChatGPT specifically. Google makes up about 40% of traffic to websites. ChatGPT, 0.21%.
And that's where most people stop reading. But there are 3 problems with using that as your comfort blanket.
Problem 1. It's only measuring ChatGPT, not Perplexity, not Copilot, not Claude, not Gemini when it's searching the web. If you add up all the AI tools people are using to get answers, that 0.21% gets a lot bigger.
Problem 2. 19x tells you nothing about the direction of travel. Google could be sending half the traffic it sent 3 years ago and still be 190 times ahead of ChatGPT. The ratio doesn't tell you whether the pie is growing or shrinking. It just tells you who has the bigger slice right now.
And problem 3, and this is the big one. Google itself is becoming an answer engine. AI overviews, AI mode, direct answers in the search results. People are searching on Google and never clicking through. So Google's own AI is eating the traffic that Google used to send you.
And Stocks actually says this himself. He ends the piece by saying, and I'm paraphrasing, if AI search is the future of search, website traffic is in trouble. That's not a reassuring conclusion. That's a warning.
Now, here's where the volume numbers get interesting, because there's a distinction a lot of people are missing. ChatGPT processes about 2.5 billion prompts a day. That's 18% of Google's raw daily search volume.
But not all of those prompts are search. People use ChatGPT for coding, for writing, for brainstorming. Stocks looked at this carefully and classified about 65% of ChatGPT usage as things people would traditionally have searched Google for. That brings it down to about 12% of Google's search volume.
Which still means ChatGPT has overtaken Bing as a search platform. In 2 years? That's not nothing.
It's significant. But the real story isn't the volume. It's the click-through behavior. ChatGPT's CTR is 96% lower than Google's. It answers you, and you stay there. It's a cul-de-sac.
So the picture is Google still sends far more traffic, but the traffic Google sends is becoming less visible to you. And the places where people are increasingly going, the AI tools, barely send traffic at all.
Which brings us to the data black hole. Another Ahrefs study, also from Stocks, looked at Google's Search Console data from April 2025, before AI overviews had even launched. Nearly 47% of all website traffic in Search Console was coming from anonymized queries.
So almost half the organic data is just gone? You can see the clicks, but not what people searched?
Exactly. Google anonymizes any query that fewer than a few dozen users searched over a 2 to 3 month period. And here's the kicker. They analyzed 22 billion clicks across nearly 900,000 Search Console properties. This isn't a small sample. And for many sites, it's worse than the average. The most common range was between 45% and 80% anonymized.
And that was before AI overviews. Now that people are searching with longer, more conversational queries, which Google themselves encouraged by removing the 32-word search limit, even more queries are going to fall below that threshold and get anonymized.
Which actually makes sense of what Google Ads said this week. Jenny Marvin was talking to Brandon Irvin, their director of product management for search ads, and the message was essentially, stop building elaborate multi-layered campaigns for every match type. Simplify your structure.
The old gold standard, granular campaigns, exact match types, device-level bids. Google is now calling that a liability.
And look, I usually hate that advice because it sounds like hand over your budget and trust the machine. But if half your query data is invisible, what exactly are you being granular about? You're optimizing against data you can't see.
If the data is invisible, granularity isn't a strategy. It's a guess dressed up as precision.
Okay, so let's shift to the other side of this. Even if Google still sends more traffic, the AI tools are where a growing number of conversations happen, and most brands have no idea what's being said about them in those conversations.
This is what got me interested this week. Louise Lennon at Ahrefs wrote up a framework for actually tracking your visibility inside ChatGPT. Because right now, OpenAI doesn't give you a Search Console equivalent. You're completely blind.
So, how are they approaching it?
They built something called Brand Radar. It tracks mentions, citations, and share of voice across 13.5 million prompts. The idea is to treat ChatGPT visibility like share of voice rather than traditional ranking. You're not tracking positions. You're tracking how often you get recommended, what's being said, and where your competitors show up, but you don't.
So, it's competitive intelligence for a channel that didn't exist 2 years ago. But even if you can track it, how do you actually influence what the AI says about you?
That is the question, and Kevin Indig might have the most rigorous answer I've seen. His latest growth memo analyzed 1.2 million ChatGPT responses with 18,000 verified citations to figure out exactly how AI reads and cites content.
18,000 verified citations? That's not anecdotal. What did he find?
He found what he calls the ski ramp pattern. 44% of all citations come from the first 30% of the text. The AI disproportionately pays attention to the top of your content. If your key insight is buried in paragraph 12 of a 20-paragraph post, it's 2.5 times less likely to get cited.
So, front-load your conclusions. Write like a journalist, not a novelist.
Right, but here's the part most people are going to miss. Indig also looked at what happens within individual paragraphs, and the pattern flips. 53% of paragraph-level citations come from the middle of the paragraph, not the first sentence. He specifically says, and this matters, ChatGPT is not lazy. It reads deeply within paragraphs. It's looking for the sentence with the highest information density.
So the AI scans from the top of the page down. That's the ski ramp. But once it locks onto a paragraph, it reads the whole thing and picks the most information-rich sentence.
Exactly. The macro behavior is top-heavy. The micro behavior is thorough. You need both. Front-load your arguments on the page, but make every paragraph count.
What else did he find about what gets cited?
5 characteristics. First, definitive language. Text that uses clear X is Y structures gets cited almost twice as often as vague introductions. Second, conversational question and answer formatting, and 78% of question-based citations came from H2 headings. The AI treats your subheading as the user's prompt, and the paragraph below it as the answer.
So write your headings as actual questions, not our approach to analytics, but how does analytics improve campaign performance?
Exactly. Third, entity richness. Normal text has about 5 to 8% entity density. Proper nouns, brand names, specific tools. Heavily cited text has over 20%. Name the tools. Name the competitors. Specificity, get cited.
So stop writing "there are many good tools for this" and start writing "the top tools include Salesforce, HubSpot, and Pipedrive."
Nods. Fourth, balance sentiment. A subjectivity score around 0.47. Not dry Wikipedia facts. Not breathless opinion. The analyst voice. State the fact, then explain why it matters. And fifth, business-grade writing. College-level readability outperforms academic or PhD-level complexity. Simple subject-verb-object structures, not long, winding jargon.
So the formula is front-load your conclusions, write headings as questions, name specific entities, keep the tone analytical, and write clearly. That's not revolutionary advice for anyone who's done journalism or business writing.
No, but it's backed by 1.2 million data points with a p-value of 0. The difference is, we're not guessing anymore. We know what the machine is looking for, and it's looking for clarity.
Which brings us full circle. The 19x stat makes it sound like nothing has changed, but everything has changed. Google is anonymizing half your data. Its own AI is reducing click-throughs. ChatGPT has overtaken Bing. And now you need to optimize not just for ranking, but for being cited by machines that read differently to humans.
The takeaway isn't SEO is dead or SEO is fine. It's that the game has forked. You need a Google strategy and an AI visibility strategy. And if you're only looking at the 190x number for comfort, you're reading the headline and ignoring the article.
Ironic, given that's exactly what the AI does with your content.
That's the line. All right, that's a wrap for this week. We covered the real story behind the traffic numbers, the data black hole in Search Console, and how to actually write content that AI will cite.
Stop optimizing for 2015. Read the actual research. And for the love of God, check if ChatGPT knows who you are.
We'll catch you in the next one. Keep building.
Stay skeptical.